Good morning, Blue Demons. Happy Saturday, and welcome to our morning edition of Get to Know DePaul. Today, I'm joined by Matt Charnay from Religious Diversity and Pastoral Care. But before we get started, as you can for every one of our sessions, you have the opportunity to check into today's stream by scanning the QR code pictured here, or by clicking the link that I will place in the chat here momentarily. You can check into the stream anytime between now and September 11th, whether you're watching live or you're watching at a later time as well, for your opportunity to win one of our Lincoln Park stainless steel map water bottles. They're double walled. They'll help you get around campus, but they're one of our most coveted promo items when we make the plastic ones. So we a little upgrade. So be sure to check in for that opportunity to win. But we will go ahead and get started. Matt, thanks so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Courtney. I'm glad to be here. And I have one of those water bottles myself. Might as well just check in and get that water bottle. Why not, right?
Exactly, right? And you can do it 28 times. We're doing, well, actually, we just had a couple more offices ask us to get added at the end. So we're going to do 2 more interviews with the Career Center now and the Idea Realization Lab at the tail end too. So there'll be 30 chances, which is even better, right?
We want you to get these water bottles so bad. We're doing extra interviews for you. So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Matt, as we get started here, how about we start by you telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are, how long you've been at DePaul, and why you decided to come here in the first place.
So I am Matt Charnay. I am the Jewish Life Coordinator for the Religious Diversity and Pastoral Care Office. I also work with the Interfaith Scholar Group, and I do a lot of social media outreach for the Division of Mission Ministry as well. I had to stop and think about it. It was 2011 when I started, so 9 years. Those will be 9 years at DePaul. I'm originally from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, with a theater degree, a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in theater. And after graduating undergrad in Oklahoma, was like, well, I got to get out. Here we go. And now my wife and I and 2 amazing kids have been in Chicago for almost 10 years, been working here for 9 years. My original thought was I want to work in like the Jewish camp world, and then this job appeared, and I thought Jewish campus. I feel like those things are similar, so here I am, and oh my gosh, I've been loving every second of it since I've been here. So, hooray! I hope everyone else loves DePaul as much as I do.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Well, and a fun fact for our viewers: I've been at DePaul for about 5 years. I used to work at the institution that Matt got his undergrad from.
Go Broncos!
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, Matt, how about you tell us a little bit about Religious Diversity and Pastoral Care? What does the office service entail, and really what does it mean for students here at DePaul?
So the Religious Diversity Pastoral Care Office is part of the Division of Mission and Ministry. So inside Division of Mission and Ministry, there's lots of things going on, but I'm going to suck it down into the student-facing section of it. There's a whole faculty-facing section, but since I think it's mostly for students today, I'm going to focus on the student-facing. So we have Catholic Campus Ministry, we have the Community Service Office, which I think Gina spoke to the other day, and then we have the Religious Diversity and Pastoral Care Office. Generally speaking, we handle everything religious, non-Catholic. So if there is a religious group on campus that is not Catholic, and there's lots of them, they come through our office. So I specifically work with all the different Jewish groups on campus. Abdulmalik Ryan, the assistant director, he works with the Muslim groups on campus. Minister Janae Coleman works with like ecumenical and all Christian non-Catholic groups on campus. And then the director, Reverend Diane Dardone, is a Lutheran minister, and she as well helps with ecumenical groups, but kind of oversees everything that is religious diversity at DePaul. It's social, it's spiritual, it's philosophical, it's service-oriented, it's just about hanging out and having fun. It is kind of anything and everything that you could want in all of those communities kind of jammed into one tiny, small, little awesome team. So I know that's a lot of words to kind of describe a lot of different things going on, but generally speaking, anything religious, non-Catholic, we got it.
Yeah. Well, and that reminds me of one of the things that our former president used to say, Father Holtschneider, is that DePaul is a place for people of all religious backgrounds and none. And that always stood out to me, that we had this, this Catholic priest who led the largest Catholic university in the country, very intentionally talked about all religious faiths and none, and DePaul really is a place that, in our student center there, when we are in our more robust environment with doors open for everything, there are prayer spaces available for our Muslim students, Jewish life students,
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's just it really is this place that is very welcoming to people of all religious faiths, which I really appreciate.
It's always it's a fun, interesting, but it's always interesting to watch the students' faces kind of on tours, and students are going like, is that a Muslim prayer room? And there's an interfaith prayer space over here, and then there's all these different. I thought this was the largest Catholic university in the country, and it totally is. And you're absolutely right. What I like to say, and I won't drown us out with a bunch of history right now, but they're one of the first universities ever that never had a creedal code. You don't have to be anything to attend here, and also they never had a quota system, meaning that they were one of the first large universities to never have we're only going to let this number of Catholics or Jews or whatever in here. And so that's a big deal when you're talking about, major universities being open, being equitable, being there for people who need it. Like, that's one of the reasons why DePaul really is this kind of interfaith beacon. And I really forget about it sometimes and go other places, and people go, oh my gosh, you're from DePaul, right? They have so many different things there. I'm like, yeah, we really do. I almost forget. It's so awesome.
Yeah. Matt, I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit further about what pastoral care means. I know not all people of all religious faiths might be familiar with that term. Just curious if you can dive into that a little bit more.
Absolutely. I mean, even being a Jew, like, pastoral care is not a term that I was raised with or used a lot, but coming to understand it a lot more since I'm in the office now. Like, the pastoral care part of the office is we're here to talk. There are pastoral agents in the office. There are ministers. There are priests. There are clergy that are here to speak with you, and not just about questions about religion, but in like actual things that you need to speak about. The thing about most of the clergy is, and I am not ordained clergy, so this excludes me, but anyone who is ordained clergy in the mission and ministry office is a non-mandatory reporter, meaning that if you have something serious you need to talk to someone about and you don't want to talk to a teacher or a counselor, there is probably someone of your faith tradition that can speak with you about some serious issues and give you some guidance in those ways. So that's students forget that resource is available, and sometimes there's so many things going on and there's so many people reaching out to students with resources that resource kind of gets skipped over. So if you're wondering who to talk to about something, if you want general guidance, if you just want to kind of have a friendly ear to talk with, that's what pastoral care is about. Come and find someone of your faith tradition, find a friend, find someone who like seems interesting to speak with, and just start up a conversation. And there's lots of different ways to do that. I would say come in the office, but now stop by the website, shoot us an email, all those things, and we'd love to talk.
Yeah, that's actually a good transition point, Matt, because I'm curious to hear a little bit more about what will be open for students this fall, or are you all going to be largely operating out of a virtual environment? I think particularly some of our students might be curious about prayer spaces.
Yes. We held on to it as long as we possibly could. We tried to make it available for everyone, but unfortunately, I feel like any physical space that was available is right now closed. We are fully virtual as much as possible. I know there are some student groups that are meeting, small groups in person, of course, obeying all guidelines and everything, but anything that's run by the mission and ministry office the attempt is to be fully virtual. That includes prayer spaces. So unfortunately right now, interfaith space on the first floor of the student center is closed. Muslim prayer space, Jewish life space, those are all kind of on hold for the moment. But they are tier 1 to be opened if and when those things can be opened again. Prayer spaces with proper cleaning efforts and social distance and all those things will be opened as soon as we possibly can. I mean, I know the church is ready, like the chapel's ready, the interfaith space is ready. Just for when they start lifting those regulations, we'll be there. But unfortunately, right now, all prayer spaces are kind of on hold. But usually, yes, we have multiple spaces. There's spaces in the Loop and in Lincoln Park campus. There's interfaith spaces, there's Muslim prayer spaces, there's just general kind of quiet meditation spaces for anyone practicing meditation in any other faith tradition. So usually that's one of our we like to hang our hat on how many great spaces there are around the university. It's a little more challenging this quarter right now, but they will be up and running when everyone's well again. So right now, virtual prayer spaces. Check out Ummah, check out Muslim Life, Jewish Life for Shabbat services and daily prayers and things like that. So we still have them. They're just not in-house.
Yeah. Well, and I think that speaks to a theme we've heard throughout the series so far is, we know that our on-campus footprint is being further reduced, but there's still these opportunities to be or join in with community in this virtual environment.
Right.
And I think one of the things that I really appreciate, DePaul, is this summer we worked very hard to intentionally create those spaces so that come fall we can have them in a great environment. And one of the things, for our viewers who have been checking in to a number of these sessions, one of the things that we've been talking about is, now that you're here at DePaul, particularly for our new students, you are part of the DePaul community forever. So approach, especially this virtual environment, as that foundation for community building and community development, so that, when our prayer spaces reopen and our gathering spaces reopen, you have those people already, and you're going to just be able to flow into those relationships that much easier.
Absolutely. And I usually say this anyway, like the barrier of entry for most of our stuff is so low. I mean, there's no commitment really involved. Just pop in, say hi. I would say, grab the bagel and just hang out. But now it's even lower. I mean, just click. Mm-hmm. Why not? See what the service is like for 10 minutes. If it's not your vibe that day, click back later. But it might be the exact thing. The exact thing you needed in that moment was to click that link and just to sit and listen. You don't even have to engage in every single conversation or jump in with the full intro. I know DePaul sometimes gets crazy with their intros, and I think that might trip some trepidatious students up. But now I say, yeah, why not? If you're thinking about going on Friday night to the Shabbat service or to the Juma prayer or Sunday morning to the Mass, and you were a little like, I didn't know who to go with, now we're all going with you. Why not? Just click the link and we're all there together. And exactly, some friendly faces that you might start seeing, and then you'll actually meet them on campus later. But I have a feeling that a lot of these groups, I mean, they're so ready to make new connections. Groups are ready to see new students. New students are ready to make new connections. And I don't want it to feel like it's impossible that we're all just in this holding pattern until we come back to campus. Like, we actually can do some really cool stuff here. It's just, who's ready to click and who's ready to kind of sit and listen and engage. And I know, like, it's hourly for me. There's some hours I'm like, yes, this is going to be awesome, and I'm so ready for this. And then a couple hours later, I am not in the mood to engage in a Zoom call. And so I feel yourself out, feel the program out, and when you're ready and when it's time, boom, you'll connect, and it'll be copacetic, as we say.
Yeah. Well, Matt, I think that brings me to another question. You talked a little bit about some of the you talked big picture about student organizations and opportunities for engagement. I'm curious if you could talk a little bit further about what maybe some specific examples of ways that students can engage with the Religious Diversity and Pastoral Care team as we head into this fall.
Absolutely. So, while we have some big tent events open for everybody, a lot of our stuff is pretty niche. That's kind of what the Religious Diversity Office is. So, like, we have the Interfaith Scholar Group that's planning a really big quarterly interreligious celebration for the end of October, bringing lots of student artists together for an online kind of talent show. But a lot of our programming is for Muslim students, for Jewish students, for Buddhist students, for like specific groups. And so a lot of that is kind of, it's the built-in cheat, like social connection. Like if you just are that thing, then you're a part of it, and everyone's welcome to join those things, to join any of those events at any time. But it's kind of the like, well, if you know there's the prayers for Shabbat, then obviously this is going to be a lot easier for you to just jump right into it. So the Welcome Week is kind of full of different events as far as everybody kind of doing a lot of different outreach events. The Sankofa program, which is Black Spiritual Leadership, is ramping up, and they're going to start recruiting for not only positions, but just to be a part of the leadership program. Jewish Life has high holiday services the first weeks of school. So the 18th and 19th is Rosh Hashanah, and then the 28th, 29th is Yom Kippur. I know those aren't always, the students aren't always beating down the door to jump into high holiday services, but don't worry, everybody. There's tickets for everybody. You're all welcome to join our virtual high holiday services. Uma, like the Shura, is planning some amazing stuff right off the bat, and they're coming on strong with like chai chats and Juma prayers on Fridays and things like that. So like I wish I had the like, here's the one thing that religious diversity is doing, but there's so many things. I would say like hit the Facebook page and start kind of weeding through all of the different groups that you might be interested in and kind of go from there, because there's so many things coming up in those first couple of weeks from all of our different groups. It's hard to say like, here's the full list of everything. I wish I had a menu to give you of everything. So.
Yeah. And you talk a little bit about the Facebook page. All of the offerings can also be found on the Religious Diversity website too.
Yes.
So be sure students check that out, and as a great first place to go and explore a little bit. And then Matt mentioned a little bit about some of these student organizations. You can also check them out on DHub, which is our student organization management portal. So all of the groups that Matt's talking about are all listed in there. So you can go find contact information, get a little bit more information on who they are, what they do, find out about their past events, and then see what they have upcoming for this fall too. And then, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about our student involvement fair. It's a great opportunity to find out more too. That's taking place on Friday, September 18th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you'll be able to connect with these and other organizations. Last I heard, I think we were around 150 registrants for that fair. Yeah, so it's going to be a really great place to find out about both organizations affiliated with the Division of Mission and Ministry and just general interest groups too.
It's always a fun time, in person or online, I think, and it really is the best way to kind of see what's out there. I really encourage everybody to do it. Like the org fair is kind of the jump start to what's going on campus. So please check it out. I know there's usually we're all waiting in line anxiously to see everyone who comes to the org fair. So please come check us out. Yes.
Yeah.
And then you can see holiday services right after. It's 6:30.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So as we head towards the tail end of the interview, if any of our viewers have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments to ask Matt directly, or you can always connect with them afterwards as well via social media, email, any of those outlets. But Matt, I'm curious if you have any advice for students as they start this fall, either in terms of religious diversity and pastoral care, or just as a general student coming to DePaul this fall.
Oh, I was mulling it over before the interview, and I was like, okay, where am I going to land on advice? What I usually tell people is, and this is coming from the Religious Diversity Pastoral Care Office, my quick thing to incoming freshmen and new students on campus is, like, don't put spirituality on the back burner, right? You're figuring everything else in your life out. You're figuring out who you want to be and who you are and who you want to surround yourself with and what kind of ideals call to you. And so figure out religion too, right? Make your parents really happy, join a faith community, or, make your parents not happy and join a different faith community, whatever. It's your life. You get to figure it out. So have fun. There's so many different ways here. Like the buffet analogy is kind of what I use a lot too. Of if you want to keep coming to this one thing, we are going to keep this hot and tasty and ready for you. And you can fill your plate up with this one religion, or, try the Shabbat service, do the Buddhist meditation, go to a Juma prayer. Why not? Like, fill your plate with all the different things, see what kind of spirituality fills you up the most, what raises your reservoir of spiritual fulfillment, and then, go from there. And then the next thing I say is, and this might not be the best thing, but one of the best things I ever did was skip class with a guy I just met and went and see a concert, and that guy is my best friend now. We talk all the time, and I'm not going to tell you to skip class, but be open for any experience. The whole thing is a learning opportunity. Every moment from being asleep to being awake, that whole day in college, every single day is a learning opportunity. And there's lots of different ways to learn, not just in class. So be open to those moments. Be aware of when it might be good to have a new experience and when you should maybe buckle down and go to class. So that would be my quick if I could do it again, that would be my suggestion to myself.
Yeah. Who and where was the concert?
It wasn't even, it was something so silly. And like, it was hey, do you want to go see these guys play some jazz over here instead of like our philosophy class? It was like, yeah, totally. Why not?
Was it at the Jazz Lab?
This was pre-Jazz Lab, but yes, this was why they had the jazz. Wow, we're doing some deep cut UCO conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why they had the Jazz Lab is because these guys were so good. They were like, we need to have a place for these people to play. So yeah.
Too funny. Well, Matt, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Absolutely.
To our viewers, as you may know, this series is part of Welcome Week. So we have 165 offerings taking place from August 26th through September 11th. So you can find that full schedule at welcomeweek.depaul.edu. If you didn't have a chance on the front end of the interview, be sure to check into today's broadcast by scanning the QR code here or by clicking the link in the comments box as well. We'll be back at 4 o'clock with the Humanities Center, speaking a little bit about their programs and services as well. But in the meantime, the other thing I wanted to be sure to share was we've got a couple of things on the docket for events and experiences for you this week that we want to be sure that you check out. So the first is tomorrow night. We're telling some ghost stories with Haunted Chicago. So you can check those out live, streamed live to OSI, the DePaul Activities Board, and ResEd's Facebook pages. Then on Tuesday, we're doing a paint and palette. And there's actually 3 different ways that you can interact with this event. If you're a student in quarantine, you can request to have your packet delivered to you through the D-Hub link pictured here. If you are in Lincoln Park and in the area, you can pick up your palette and supplies from the Office of Student Involvement on Tuesday from 1 to 5 p.m. Or if you are a student who's doing classes remotely this quarter, we can mail it to you. So again, there's a form available. All of those links are listed here, or you can find any of them through the Office of Student Involvement D-Hub page. And then finally, I just wanted to put in a plug for our Welcome Week remix. This is going to be a video DJ dance party that we are doing in a virtual environment, but it was just approved yesterday. For those of you in Lincoln Park, we are also going to have a live stream of it in Corderloo Commons as well. So it'll be a socially distant event, but you're welcome to head over to Corderloo if you want to check it out with people in that physically distant manner. But again, Matt, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. And to all of our students, have a wonderful day. We've got a few students moving onto campus today, so be safe. And we will talk to you soon, Blue Demons.
Can I plug that link I just put in there?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I just want to say, we talked a little bit about pastoral care. I put that link in the chat. That's like the direct link to if you need to talk to somebody, you can click on one of the names on that website. And not to bring it down in the last moment, but I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I know we are all excited and eager for school to start, but there is a lot of things going on. If you need to talk, please call us. We are here to talk about anything to anyone at any time. Please. We know that there is so many things going on in your life, in this world, in this country, in this universe, and sometimes you just got to talk to somebody about it. So please, that's what we're all about, making community, talking students through, and getting better day by day. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, Matt. We will talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. See you soon. Woo.